To many, Leonardo da Vinci is best known as the artist behind the world's most famous painting, the Mona Lisa, as well as iconic works like The Last Supper and Vitruvian Man. But Leonardo was much more than one of history's greatest artists. He was an anatomist who meticulously studied and illustrated the human body, an architect who designed cities and buildings that were revolutionary for his time, an astronomer who studied the night sky and sketched designs for one of the earliest telescopes, a botanist who documented and analyzed plants, a cartographer who created some of the first modern maps. He was an engineer who devised incredible machines and structures, a geologist who explored the Earth, theorizing about the origins of fossils, a hydrodynamicist dedicated to understanding the forces and flow of water, a mathematician who wove calculations into the very fabric of his art, a multi-instrumentalist musician who even designed some of his own musical instruments, a theater producer who created immersive sets and props that amazed audiences, a scientist who theorized, tested, and discovered groundbreaking ideas, an inventor who pushed the boundaries of what was technologically possible in his time. And he did all of this over 500 years ago. To understand how Leonardo became all of this, we must delve into his origins and the events that shaped his personality and charted his extraordinary path. Leonardo di Ser Piero da Vinci was born on April 15, 1452, in the quiet village of Anciano, near the town of Vinci in Tuscany. His arrival into the world was far from luxurious or noble. He was the illegitimate son of Ser Piero da Vinci, a respected Florentine notary, and Caterina, a young orphan peasant of humble origins. Born out of wedlock, Leonardo's status profoundly shaped his life and family dynamics, influencing his path in unexpected ways. In Renaissance Italy, being an illegitimate child meant exclusion from inheritance and political life. Unlike his legitimate half-siblings, Leonardo wouldn't have access to the same opportunities. However, this exclusion also gave him freedom. He wasn't bound to follow the rigid career path of a notary, as was the family tradition. Ser Piero did not marry Caterina, and Leonardo was raised apart from his mother. At the age of 5, he was brought to live in his father's household, where he found a partially welcoming home filled with societal conventions. Although treated with respect, he was never regarded as an equal to his legitimate siblings, which led to a distant relationship with his father. However, recognizing Leonardo's exceptional talent, Ser Piero ensured that his son received a basic education, something uncommon for illegitimate children at the time. From a young age, Leonardo displayed an extraordinary curiosity. He spent hours exploring the fields, hills, and rivers of Tuscany, observing the natural world, and mentally capturing every detail. Fascinated by the flight of birds, the flow of water, and the movement of clouds, his insatiable desire to understand how the world worked extended beyond mere observation. He drew incessantly, filling pages with detailed sketches of leaves, birds, and stones. Though modern science had yet to emerge, young Leonardo instinctively applied principles resembling the scientific method. While other children played or worked, Leonardo immersed himself in thought and in his relentless quest for answers. His fascination with nature and his ability to observe and analyze in depth set him apart from others. He seemed to view the world through a lens invisible to others, noticing details and subtleties that escape the average eye. Vinci, the small town where Leonardo grew up, was a peaceful place surrounded by landscapes that would later inspire his early works and studies. He lived between his father's house and his mother's simpler life. Caterina eventually married another man, and the emotional distance between Leonardo and his parents shaped his introspective nature. Ser Piero married several times, but for many years, none of these unions produced legitimate heirs. This gave Leonardo an ambiguous position within the family. He wasn't a legitimate son, but didn't have to compete with brothers for inheritance or privileges. Yet this marginal position in society reinforced his independent, self-taught character. Unwilling to conform to pre-established roles, Leonardo felt that to stand out, he had to forge his own path. And forge it he did. Although distant, Ser Piero recognized his son's potential. At around age 14, he took Leonardo to Florence, one of Europe's cultural capitals, and placed him under the tutelage of Andrea del Verrocchio, a renowned master of painting, sculpture, and engineering. Entering Verrocchio's workshop was like stepping into a magical world. There, Leonardo learned to work with various materials: plaster, metal, paint, and even small mechanical designs. He was an eager apprentice, observing the masters and practicing every chance he got. Legend has it that Verrocchio was so impressed by Leonardo's angel in the baptism of Christ that he vowed never to paint again. This moment is often seen as the first public sign of Leonardo's genius. Unlike other apprentices, Leonardo didn't limit himself to what was taught. He spent nights studying stars and celestial bodies, observing how light reflected on surfaces and experimenting with perspective. His interest wasn't just in aesthetic beauty. He sought to understand the mechanics behind it. Through his experiments with light and shadow, Leonardo developed the famous sfumato technique, creating smooth transitions of color that gave his works an ethereal quality. In an era when the church controlled knowledge and imposed strict limits on intellectual pursuits, Leonardo began to feel the weight of repression. The Catholic Church, dominant in education and authority, often viewed advancements outside his control as threats. Leonardo's curiosity didn't align with these restrictions. His anatomical studies, which included dissecting cadavers, were particularly controversial. While the church condemned such practices, Leonardo believed that to depict the human figure accurately, he needed to understand its internal structure. Leonardo filled his notebooks with precise anatomical drawings, revolutionary for their time. These were often written in mirrored script and encoded to protect his findings from the scrutiny of religious authorities. The tension between Leonardo's quest for truth and the societal constraints of his time shaped his dual role as artist and scientist. His work was a delicate balance of innovation and secrecy, pushing boundaries while avoiding outright confrontation. Leonardo's mind never rested. From an early age, he was captivated by motion, how machines worked, how gears turned, and how birds soared through the sky. His fascination with flight led him to sketch intricate designs for flying machines, such as ornithopters and artificial wings. He also delved into military engineering, conceptualizing multi-barreled cannons, armored vehicles, and movable bridges. While most of his inventions remained theoretical, they showcased a visionary mind unbound by the technology of his era. Gradually, his talents drew attention. Leonardo combined art and science like no other, creating portraits and murals with unmatched realism and emotional depth. Commissions began to flow, and his name grew synonymous with creativity and innovation. Before becoming a Renaissance master, Leonardo da Vinci was a young man who refused to accept the world as it was. He questioned everything, sought answers no one dared to pursue, and found beauty in the smallest details. From humble beginnings to his first steps in Florence, Leonardo's life was a relentless pursuit of knowledge and innovation. His insatiable curiosity and multidisciplinary genius made him the true universal man. It was this unique blend of talent, curiosity, and resilience that turned Leonardo da Vinci into one of history's greatest minds, an enduring inspiration for anyone who believes in the power of learning and the potential to change the world.